Can you move this a bit closer to this?
But Adam, right, this is not our view, we're super. Well, award evening, I'm going to. Huh? Award evening. I'll vote, but
It's come out, isn't it? There you go. Right, so.
I know you can.
I'll start recording.
Okay. So, Miss, what genre do you think the film is?
It looks to me like it's a drama.
Is there any hybrid, or is it just a drama?
Fantasy drama.
Fantasy drama.
Yeah, slightly. Sort of not necessarily like in reality, slightly out of reality. Sort
What
of thing.
conventions made you imply that this is a drama?
That it's a drama. So obviously the facial expressions and the script, so like the type of dialogue that you were using, made me think it was a drama. There wasn't any sort of obvious jokes, and there wasn't any sort of setup of any suspense or anything like that. It looked like it was like an introspective piece.
That's good, because our genre is a drama, so that's good that you noticed that.
The second question, how did the film make you feel in relation to other short films?
Other drama short films.
Okay, I can't think of any short films like this moment that's like a drama.
Have you seen
I have.
Identity?
I haven't.
The one I
seen,
showed?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen that film. How I felt about the film? I thought it was a really interesting idea. It's obviously got the theme of like, you know, wanting to follow that, like whether or not you should follow the crowd or not, you know, things like that. You know, am I good enough? You know, it sort of asks lots of sort of questions like that. Do I fit in?
So, Miss, can you state 3 or more binary opposites? Binary opposites.
I don't know what you mean.
Good versus evil.
Oh.
Moral versus immoral. That relate to our short film.
I can't think specifically. Obviously, you've got
Conform, non-conform.
yeah, you've got that's what I sort of said before.
Yeah.
Whether or not you fit in, so you've got conform or not conform.
Yeah. Lonely versus
Sorry?
minority versus majority.
It's the same. It's the same sort of thing, really, isn't it? To conform. But I mean, I thought it was a good. I liked how you didn't just choose a traditional storyline or traditional thing to tell that story. So it wasn't just like about a boy who wants to be part of like the in crowd.
Yeah.
You've taken it a step further and you've made it into this sort of world where everyone has a lab coat and the lab coat defines you. And even when the girl comes in and sort of says, you know, you don't need to be a genius to know how people feel or to know how you feel. What she's not just offering comfort to him. What she's suggesting is that you don't necessarily have to follow the crowd, and being a genius doesn't necessarily mean having a lab coat. So it's like you've sort of taken society as a whole and kind of the whole of sort of all the problems and all the things in society you've kind of like rendered down into this lab coat. So either you're a success or you're not a success.
Black and white, essentially.
And what the girl's role in it is to come in and say, well, actually, there's all these shades of grey in between, and actually, it's not that. And quite honestly, it was quite interesting how, because throughout watching it, I thought he's going to realise that, you know, you don't need to follow the crowd, and he's going to realise that he's a genius anyway without a lab coat. It's actually quite interesting that he he conformed at the end, and it leaves the audience, or it left me, with this sort of like frustrating sense that, why have you done that? You know, oh my God, you've sort of conformed, you've done what I didn't want you to do. But you can understand why he did it as well, because he desperately wants it, and his parents, like clearly his parents want it for him as well. So you can see why he did it.
I missed another question. Do you think the amount of characters we used in the film were enough for a short film?
I think the amount of characters you used were sufficient, but I don't think you explored them well enough. So...
But the thing that I missed, to argue to your point, is that we were told to keep our cast at a limitation.
It's not, even if you had one character in your film, it's not about the amount of people, it's about how we feel about those characters as an audience. So, for me, we didn't see enough of the girl. Like, I didn't see enough of the girl. She was a really interesting plot device, and we didn't get to know her at all. Or, if you didn't want to get to know her, we didn't sort of see her interacting with the main character enough. And it would have been nice if you'd sort of set up more of a
bond.
More of a bond between them, yeah, almost like, you know, their friendship, they've got a real friendship there. Yeah. Whereas she just looks like one of those sort of nice characters who comes in.
Yeah, like a cameo.
Just sort of comes in just to say, and then sort of, and actually I think it would have been nicer if they'd had more of a relationship, or at the very least he'd battled with it a little bit more. But I understand you were sort of...
Okay, I mean, so did you take any morals from the film? Any morals in particular? Any?
Well, I suppose the lesson that you get out of that is that, you know, actually we sort of say that you don't have to conform and you don't have to be like one of the herd or like everyone else. Yeah. But actually, in a lot of ways, you do. And the way that society's made up, it is based on success, and it is based on
how smart you are.
Not how smart you are, but maybe conforming to a particular ideal. So, you know, whether or not that's a particular ideal of a political party or an ideal of something else, you conform to it. You conform to what other people think. And we'd all love to sort of be these like individuals who doesn't listen to anyone else. You know, it doesn't matter what everyone's saying on Facebook, it doesn't matter what everyone's saying, you know, on the news or in the public. I don't care about that, I'm going to form my own opinion, but we don't do that. We do listen to everyone else and we do want to compete with everyone else, and we don't always want to be seen as individuals, we want to be seen as part of a group. And actually, that's not explored very much in films, you know, like the moral of don't, you know, be individual, don't follow the crowd. That's done quite a lot. But what you've done is you said, actually, in reality, people do have to conform sometimes, and we do want to be like everyone else sometimes because it makes us feel better. And that's actually a much more interesting theme, to explore.
Last question. Out of 5 stars, what rating would you give it, and the reason why?
Okay, I'd give it 3 stars.
Ooh, it's a bit harsh.
I'm going to explain my reasoning. It seemed a little unfinished. So I feel like a week or so extra editing on that would have finished that up. I thought your use of sound was good. You had lots of Foley in there, which kind of like added to the sense of where we were. You had kids in the playground, you had a canteen sounds and things like that, and I thought that was quite good. You didn't have a huge amount of music in there, so the emotion could have been heightened with the use of music. But then again, I thought the concept and I thought the cinematography was hands down the best bit about your film. The look of it was the best bit. You managed to create a world where you're in a school and everyone's got lab coats, and it feels like he's, you know, not part of that group. And you've really managed to capture that sense that he's sort of like on his own and everyone else is part of a group. And that's why I think you deserve 3 stars. And it would have been 4 stars. I wouldn't give hardly anything 5 stars, but I think it would have been 4 stars if it had just been polished that little bit more, and that's why I knocked you off a star.
Okay. Thank you, Miss. Thanks for the
answering the questions.
Thank you, Miss.